I think international education is powerful because through individual exchange, it creates global communities. Hi, my name is Lohse. I'm a graduate student at NYU and I study international education. I'm originally from Germany, where I studied to become a high school teacher. And during my teaching degree, I worked with migrant students whose first language wasn't German. And I also worked at the international office of my university. And these experiences were really impactful to me because I found myself increasingly interested in the international aspects of education, and I thought, wow, this is such an important aspect of today's world. Migration, having immigrant students, refugee students, but also having all this exchange going on, both at the higher education level, but already at the secondary school level. And I thought, this is something I want to study, and this is a field I want to work in. So I looked around for programs, and we don't really have international education yet as an academic field in Germany. So I looked around and I found that there were a lot of programs in the US. And I decided to come here to do a master's and specialize in international education. And so I came here, and this experience of studying international education has really opened up my perspective on the field, because before, to me, it was mostly about student exchange and also multicultural classrooms. But now I find that there are so many subfields to international education that are so relevant to all of the current challenges that humanity is facing. So there's education emergency, there's scholars at risk, obviously still mobility, but also virtual mobility for students who can't travel. There's this whole issue about access and equity in international education. So I really found out that there's so much more than what I originally thought, and that this field really is growing and relevant basically to everything in education. So I'm very interested still in the higher education exchange, because back in Germany I worked for the Erasmus program, which is the European region mobility scheme for university students. And this was really powerful for me to see students coming from all different countries and spending time together at a university outside of their home country and building all these bonds and really building sort of a European identity. And I think that education as a soft power, too, is very important. So I think through education, you build really through international education, you build really close bonds with whatever host country you're in or the students that come to you. And this makes sort of the concept of a foreign country, of a nation, a lot more concrete. And you will connect personal experiences to it, not all of which will be good because there will be struggles when going abroad, but hopefully most of the time there will be positive experiences and new lessons you will learn, and your horizon will be broadened by these experiences, and friendships will be created, and then hopefully these friendships will be maintained for longer and create, I don't know, business relationships, cultural exchange. So it's not just about the individuals meeting each other, but about a more macro level impact, I guess. And from my own experience as an international student coming here, I know how important it is to make international education accessible, because for me it would have never been possible to come here and do my master's program if I hadn't gotten a scholarship. So I'm currently here as a fellow of the German Academic Exchange Service, and they have agreements with universities all across the US, which make it easier for German students to come and study there. And I think this is not just limited to the higher education sphere, but also making it possible for students in high schools to participate in exchanges, or even in primary schools. It doesn't even have to be physical exchange, because maybe it's too hard for teachers to take students abroad, or too expensive, or they might still be too young to do this because it's a very challenging experience, but to sort of also increase access to virtual mobility, to do international projects online. There's a lot of possibility for all of this now.